This is the start of the Halloween episode. We're starting with torturing Steve with a standing table. We hope you enjoy.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Welcome to the Ghost Collective.
The Avengers 5.
Happy Halloween, everybody. It's the Halloween episode.
The f***ed up Avengers.
Oh yeah, we're actually on video this time too. I say as I'm looking at the camera.
As I'm looking deep into my eyes.
This is actually just how I always dress. I have a real ego thing going on. I always need to be Caesar.
Steve, what are you?
Steve's the color red. Not to be confused with Elmo.
Don't do that.
Or Joseph Stalin.
I am very sad.
I'm just a sloth.
I like George is just a sloth.
And this isn't a Halloween costume, this is just my snuggie that I wear at night.
This is my jammy jam.
This is my jammies.
He's just getting ready for bed.
There's a little towel on it that
Are we supposed to have beer on here?
Luckily you can't see the logo of it.
We're not sponsored by any beer company.
Just stick that between my legs.
Yeah, we got some special stuff for you here tonight, people. We got pumpkins on the table. We got a set with a skeleton. His name's Tim.
Oh, George?
You remembered.
And I think Steve has a nice little story for us to start off.
Do we want to do a random one from the Scary Stories Treasury?
Yeah, I brought my Scary Stories treasury for all to see.
Or do we want to do one that was handcrafted by the Ghost Collective staff? When I say Ghost Collective staff, I mean myself.
Yeah,
Only Steve.
Steve wrote a story. I think we want to hear Steve's story.
I'm in for yours.
I want to tear it apart
You're
so
in
bad.
for mine?
I can't wait to
Dude,
hear all these
you
spelling
guys
mistakes.
need to absolutely destroy this because not only did I make a story, I also did not proofread a story. So these are the insane ramblings of myself.
I'm so excited for this. What's it called, Steve?
It's just Cleo's alone at home.
It is called Moving Night.
Moving Night. Oh boy.
And if you don't know, that's
The horrors of the 6 times I had to move in the last year.
It's Mischief Night. There's Mischief Night, there's Devil's Night, but then
there's Moving Night.
October 30th in Baltimore is called Moving Night.
Is that where you break into somebody's house and then you move all their possessions around and they come home and they're like, "Why is the dresser over here, Shannon?"
So without further ado,
Moving Night
Moving Night
by Steve from the Ghost Collective.
Jimmy Gorelli if it's bad, by myself if it's good.
And me if it's meteor.
That's usually how it works.
Hit us with it, Steve.
Let's go, little one.
We're off to a good start. I hate Halloween. That's it. Damn. I hate Halloween. To some, this mischievous night was filled with cheap last-minute costumes, parties, and excuses to drink more than they usually would. Don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, I absolutely loved decorating the house, picking out a costume, and wildly running through the night with my friends on the search for candy.
And then drinking a lot.
I'm sure under normal circumstances, I would continue to love this holiday and the spooky fall season it inhabits. But these were no normal circumstances. I glanced down at my watch and wiped the sweat from my brow as I pulled into the driveway of my suburban 3-bedroom home. I still don't know why I bought it. I honestly don't need all of that space for myself, and my dream of having a wife and kids was stripped from me after the 4th Halloween.
Jesus.
I was visited. It was 5:36 on October 30th, and I had so little time to prepare. I knew the death knell of the clock striking 12 o'clock midnight would come sooner than I could anticipate. Without a doubt, I knew he would come.
Oh boy. This is a suspense building.
I've honestly tried everything. Boarding the windows, blocking the doors. I've even bought a gun in the past. Truth be told, I knew my attempts were worthless. Nothing could stop the visit.
The mover's coming, damn it.
Two guys in a truck.
Maybe I did it out of tradition at this point. Maybe I did it to give myself peace of mind. Maybe I did it to occupy my time so I didn't have a nervous breakdown as the clock struck closer to my possible demise. I never knew what the night would bring, or what I would lose before daylight creeped through my bedroom window. I just know that there is no use trying to escape. 9:07. My night has been a
booze-filled adventure.
My night has been a booze-fueled amnesia.
Is this like a diary? Like, mood apathetic.
Yeah. 9:07. My night has been a booze-fueled amnesia.
These are your own words.
These are coming from my deepest feelings.
Yeah, keep reading.
It's hard to
I'm
throw them out there. My night has been a booze-fueled amnesia. Orange-hued illumination from the streetlight outside my home spilled through the cracks of the firmly placed boards that occupied my windows. I uncomfortably smirked at the bear trap I placed by the front door, knowing that there were a multitude of ways he could come in. I threw myself back in my lounge chair and drank deeply from one of the whiskey bottles on the coffee table. Grabbing a handful of candy corn, I stared at the ceiling and wondered what he may look like this year. The demonic visage that would haunt my dreams for the next 365 nights until it started again next Halloween. His appearances have been progressively stranger, sometimes hosting an appearance that looks unnatural. 11:44. I brushed my teeth and started to change into my pajamas, although I knew that I wasn't going to sleep for a minute tonight. I looked at my hands, bending my wrists and wiggling the blank spaces where my fingers once were. I wonder what he'll take this year. I thought to myself as I sadly gazed at my legs and untouched feet. Just like his costumes, I think they're costumes, that is, what he took became increasingly substantial. He started out with finger bones and non-vital organs, but the cuts get deeper and deeper every year. Hell, I'm not even sure how many kidneys I have. I looked at the newly cleaned rug that lined the floor of my bedroom.
He just keeps taking my kidneys, man.
Give them back. It was a new house. But as I've learned in the past, completely relocating and alienating yourself from everything you once knew each and every Halloween wasn't enough to stop the expected visitor. I thought about ending it myself then and there so I didn't have to endure this endless nightmare. The last few minutes were the worst. We still have so much to teach each other. The visitor had the voice of a sick child. I didn't even think about reading that in a sick child voice. I don't know, what would even a sickly child sound like?
Please, mister, don't take my kidneys.
Well, this is the thing saying.
Oh.
Please, sir, can I have your kidneys?
Sir, I'm here to take your kidneys.
Just a crumb of kidney.
Bro, I'm here to take your kidneys.
We still have so much to teach each other. The visitor had the voice of a sickly child. I felt a chill go up my spine as I realized the featureless shadow now lingered in the door frame of my bedroom. I felt nauseous as I turned to meet the 3 pairs of misted eyes that glowed with an insatiable desire. About pain, about what is precious to us, what you'd keep from me, the thing croaked. The horrific entity's lips pulled its face into a rictus grin, revealing blackened teeth. I think we'll find these answers together. It dragged one of its nimbly twisted arms across the top of my dresser and threw on top of it a rotting burlap sack. A single tear rolled down my cheek as it shook its blade-fingered hands through the contents of its sack. However, he didn't pull out the suspected implements of torture. No medical equipment or saws or knives. Things were different this year. The sack was heavy with jars, pipes, and mysterious lockboxes of all shapes and sizes that left imprints of filth on the dresser where they sat. As he turned, I noticed the grafted ribs that lined his back, wondering if they were mine or another poor soul's that he visited annually. I saw his pale limbs pull one final object from the stained sack, a soaked rag that dripped along the floor as he ran it through his hands. Tears welled up in my eyes as he scuttled across the floor in one quick, inhuman motion, the tails of his tan leather coat sliding across the floor behind him. I leaned back in bed and closed my eyes. Thank you, I stuttered, as his lithe fingers clasped the merciful cloth across my face.
Oh boy. that it?
That's it.
That's
Damn.
the end?
That was
That's it.
impressive. You
Jeez,
should keep
dude.
going.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
What the-
What do you mean that wasn't
Any
bad?
questions for the author?
Is that-
I have a book signing.
Is that a
You
diary?
suck my nipples?
Is this what happens?
Yeah, this happens every Halloween.
Jeez, man.
Is that why you don't want to be a home
Yeah.
alone?
Is that why you like don't have ribs?
No, he got them removed.
I
for
always
other
wondered
reasons.
why whenever we went swimming, you like would always wear a shirt.
Damn, that was pretty good.
Steve
I'm
ain't got no
impressed.
ribs. That was pretty good, Steve.
I like that you added the scuttle.
Scuttled.
Scuttle, fucking scuttle.
He was just looking for the Wi-Fi password the entire time.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I was looking forward to tearing that apart, but that was actually pretty good.
I'm disappointed.
Now that I was able to
wait,
get it out,
So why is it called Moving Day again?
just because it takes place on October 30th every
Ah.
year, and
I was really getting excited for some like
bone sawing.
Nah, some couches moving around.
I was getting ready to
Home
live-
Depoting that.
Yeah, live my nightmare of moving again.
So the idea of leaving it on the cliffhanger with the
So it's
like
we
the
had-
so drag and him like thanking him is like this is like the first time he's using like amnesia or like anesthetic of some sort. Like before in the past he was like awake for this
Dude,
entire.
you can't explain your art, man.
Well, it's
You're-
the
the
one
viewers
only-
need to linger
Okay,
on it,
cut,
dude.
cut, no.
What do you think, Tim?
I think Tim liked it. Don't knock him over, please. He's very happy where he's at. Jeez, yeah. Let's, I got a fun one that I'm pretty excited to share.
All right.
This
go ahead,
is,
Jim.
this
You
is,
don't want to rip apart my moving day?
Nah, I got nothing to rip apart, dude. Besides maybe like some of the ribs on the dude, that was kind of disturbing.
Just a little bit.
No, this I'm very excited for this
I'm on
one.
bottle so I can drink.
This is
What?
this is actually kind of a requested urban legend that I got from one of our viewers, believe it or not. And
Is it the frog?
no, which I was actually going to dress up as the Loveland frog.
Oh man, we should have all did the
Due to recent events, I can't really dress up as a frog because
Oh,
Pepe.
yeah, good point.
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, but what if we all dressed up as Loveland frogs and we realized that we all came as Loveland frog and started
I don't
just
know.
beating the shit out of
All I
each
know
other?
is
So
for,
one of us has to change.
for my birthday this year,
Yeah, one of us has to change.
For my birthday this year, I'm raising awareness for the Loveland frog,
That's what
so
you're
he
donating
can
to?
be the popular frog and not Pepe.
The Loveland Frog Museum.
No, this is an even better urban myth than the Loveland frog.
Alright, let's
Yeah.
go.
This is a story, just to ease us into this urban legend. It shouldn't be too long, like 5 minutes.
May you not flounder as much as I did.
My story. As George takes another swig of his.
Non-alcoholic beverage, so it's
Root beer.
root beer,
Okay.
but just the root.
Not Stewart's TM root beer.
In northern Pennsylvania, there's a forest which Google Maps only refers to as the Hemlock Natural Area. It's a remote place near the Tuscarora State Forest, which is known for its golden eagles. I'm not going to go too much into myself. I'm not the point of this story being typed right now, but I will say that I am a lonely man. Like one of those dudes who takes a week vacation to go camping in a forest to watch golden eagles putz around. That's me. Which is why I was in that forest and heading for the Hemlock area. Have you heard hemlock trees at night? Have you heard them, Steve? When you're so far out in nowhere that only the wind going through the branches can be heard? Well, I wanted to, but my first night camping I got terribly lost coming back from where the hemlocks apparently had a natural area all to themselves. So instead of hemlocks being caressed with wind, I got my own custom soundtrack of being scared in the dark with only my phone's flashlight to guide me. Another background piece about myself. This was my first time bird/eagle watching. I'd never actually camped before, and I have no friends, so I tried figuring it out myself.
That's so sad.
Which failed. I trudged for hours until my phone died, and then I found a hefty hemlock nearby to sit down and await death at. Crying accompanied the hemlocks that night. Only I hadn't started crying yet. Can I tell you how my heart jumped from going to die mode to going to be murdered mode within moments?
Die mode.
Shit, man. I'm sitting there in dead silence waiting for my own emotions to best me, and just nearby some crazy dude starts bawling his eyes out. "Hey, buddy," I yelled, figuring maybe it was a fellow lonely man looking for love in a forest of birds. The crying stopped. I think I heard a yelp, movement, then more distant crying, only it had gotten worse and more emotional. "I'm lost too," I said, getting up. Damn, this dude must have had it way worse than me. Now, as fate would have it, the moon had been hiding behind a lot of clouds that night and finally decided to make a showing. As I struggled my way to the source of the crying, I found I could see, and went from struggling to actually surviving in that damn natural area. As I got closer to the crying, it repeated its same game. Stopped, then a yelp, movement which now, as I was closing, sounded like wet slaps on the other eye's dry ground. Then distant crying. "It's okay, dude, I'm gonna help." Why would I lie to him? Why would I say that? I'm not gonna help. Hindsight. This repeated for several more times, almost exactly. Me getting to close to companionship, and the crying mess running away. I never actually saw him. I only heard him.
This is so sad.
Until, for whatever reason, I got closer to the crying than any of the other times. My heart began to break as I got close enough to hear the skipped and struggled breaths of this poor man. "Hey, dude, it's gonna be okay," I said, rounding a mighty tree. He was absolutely lost in his sorrow by this point. I never heard anybody cry like this. Hell, I started to cry the closer I got. What hurt this man? Then I saw the large boulders blocking the path, with the source of the crying now coming into the shadows. Only it was not a man. What I saw caused my lonely heart to be content in its solitude. The thing sat on 4 legs like a dog, but its flesh looked wrong. Even in the dim moonlight, I could see the liquid abscesses dotting its body along with hairy putrid warts and boils. It was hideous, and now I knew why it cried. I snapped a twig, and the thing jumped to alert. I'm going to die, I thought. Only it disappeared. In one final struggled breath, the thing turned to a giant puddle at the foot of the boulders. I ran away. I was done, and I wanted to be rid of the forest. I wandered for 2 days in those trees before a hiker found me, and refused to believe my story of the ugly crying thing. Nobody believes it. I've tried spreading the story, which I guess this being my final attempt, but nothing holds. It's real, damn it. There's a thing in PA that cries itself into dissolving. I swear.
What the heck?
And that's it.
In our PA?
Yeah, northern PA.
As opposed to other PA.
So, you may be asking yourself, and you viewers may be asking yourself as well, what is this thing that this man saw? Yeah, there's an image. Don't ruin it. This thing that this man ran into in these hemlock trees is called a squonk. S-Q-U-O-N-K. Squonk.
Can you call it something else? Like
No, look at it, dude.
Can we call it like Barry?
Look at that thing. Look at that pathetic
like,
thing. Look at it.
It's like Bradley.
It looks like Steve when he wakes up in the morning.
But so, a squonk is like it's better than the Loveland frog, honestly.
Squonk.
So, the squonk is a mythical creature reputed to live in the hemlock forest of northern Pennsylvania.
Is it like a Pokemon?
I don't know, man.
Its name is Squonk, so it just goes Squonk.
You wouldn't be able to catch it, though, because legends of squonks probably originated in the late 19th century at the height of Pennsylvania's importance in the timber industry. The earliest known written account of squonks comes from a book by William T. Cox called Fearsome Creatures of the Lumber Woods, with a few desert and mountain beasts. And if that isn't a title, I don't know what is.
You know that dude was like pissed off because everybody was calling him Cox, so then he just like went upstairs and I'll send a squonk on him.
I want people to see these fan images.
The legend holds that the creature's skin is ill-fitting, being covered with warts and that, because it is ashamed of its appearance, it hides from plain sight, and spends most of its time weeping.
Drink to that, bro.
Hunters who have tried catching squonks have found out that the creature is capable of dissolving completely into a pool of tears and bubbles when cornered. A man named J.T. Wentling is supposed to have coaxed the creature into a bag, of which when he carried it home it suddenly lightened. Upon further inspection he found that all that remained was the liquid remains of the sad animal. The scientific name of the squonk, Lacrimacorpus dissolvens,
Dissolvens.
comes from the Latin words meaning tear, body, and dissolve.
Dissolvins.
And
The Dolphins.
here, the people need to see what a squonk is.
You probably like edited
I'm gonna destroy the autofocus for this.
Put it on the green screen behind you.
No. Oh no, it's not even gonna. So this is a squonk, people. This is what a squonk looks like. It's very beautiful. Here's a fan image of a squonk. I just realized I'm not near the microphone, so they're probably not going to hear this.
That's all right. Well, with the effect of you being in the background.
I'm tripping over my toga, but yeah. So
I like that.
that's
interesting.
That's a squonk.
Let's
That's
just
a
say
squonk and a half.
it's no Loveland frog.
The Wikipedia.
Well, nothing's
you
a
probably
Loveland
won't
frog.
see this, but the Wikipedia has a shit ton of cultural references. Steely Dan made a song that references squonks. Have you ever seen a Squonk's Tears? Genesis, in their 1976 album, A Trick of the Tail, is titled Squonk. There's so much stuff about squonks.
Anything that we know?
Something about a Mongolian death worm.
Hey, I know about that.
No, me too.
I think we need to.
And in the sea, also, it has fearsome critters. So, that's squonks, everybody.
How about? I mean, we're in New Jersey. We're not that far from northern Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, the Loveland frog is untouchable by our standards, but...
Well, we have the Jersey Devil in New Jersey, but I feel like we should just, like, make up some, like, shit legend in order for people to give us money. Because you know that's how half of these legends, like, come about. Like,
Do you think that guy got paid to?
Yeah, I
Dude,
don't think-
he probably, like, he was just like, look what I got in my sack, squonk juice. And then
Okay.
everybody was coming out to throw money at
the
him for that squonk
the
juice.
squonk's too sad to
He was
be
just
fake.
peeing in
It's not-
jars.
You don't make something up
He was
that
just peeing in
you don't
jars.
make
Selling
something
it for
up
people
that
to get
that's
their
sad.
drug test.
Yeah, he was peeing in jars and being like,
No.
get your squonks here.
You don't make up something like that.
I wish I could show them to you, but they keep crying before you see them.
2 for 1. 2 for 1.
Every time you go to see the squonk, it just cries and dies.
He just has.
I'm
He opens
sorry.
up his thing and there's just a pot. He just pours water on the ground and that's. Look at my squat. Oh.
Oh, man.
guess it dissolved, everybody.
Sorry.
My bad.
Come by and spend $50
Maybe
next
I'll
night,
see it
folks. Maybe I'll
tomorrow.
see it. Yeah, just give me more money. Squonk
Squonk.
juice.
Come see the squonk. Everyone come see the squonk.
One squonk, please.
But yeah, I really like the squonk. I'm a fan of the squonk.
I like the idea.
Because I kind of
I think we should
identify
go
with the
find
squonk. I wish I could dissolve when people looked at me, because there's some times when I really don't want certain people to look at me.
I mean, you ever used HF?
What?
Never mind.
What kind of deep web shit are you hitting me with here?
HF, hydrofluoric
Oh,
acid.
Jim, every time you look at me, my heart dissolves.
I don't need this from the color red.
All right.
If we're done with squonks, George, what do you got?
I like the squonk.
I love the
I
squonk.
want to meet the squonk.
Squonk.
You can't meet the squonk unless it's a
I want to meet the puddle
moonlit
of the
night
squonk.
where it doesn't hear you sneaking up.
I got a squonk puddle for you.
That's it.
Imagine just sitting in the woods lost and you hear this thing crying.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. I think I would be insulted though if like this thing was crying and then it didn't even attack me. I think at that point I'm in a mode where it's like, okay, let's just do this.
Fight or flight.
And then it just dissolves. I would be pissed. I would have no closure.
just
what?
It just evaporates.
I would go home and brood about it for 20 years.
It would be like if H.P. Lovecraft never actually showed you the fish people in like Shadow over Innsmouth.
Does he show you the fish people?
That's a good point. I never actually read it.
I'm pretty sure it's just like,
I've heard of the squonk. I've never actually
it's just
seen
like
it.
he's like trying to sleep in an inn, and then like he hears like flippers outside.
Squonk
he
is
goes, oh shit, and then then it's over.
Squonk is his other cat's name.
My
Oh my
other
God.
cat's name.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Ickbar Bigglestein
That's how I would say it. Ickbar Bigglestein.
or Bigglestein.
It sounds like
have some like wine. Bigglestein.
Bigglestein.
it honestly sounds like like the German version of Barney the dinosaur.
See, I was getting like a...
Hey kids, it's time for Ickbar Bigglestein!
I was getting like a Bearstein Bears vibe from it. Or Berenstein, or whatever that weird...
We don't even need to get into the Mandela effect here.
Yeah.
Because no one knows what they actually are called.
I'm pretty sure it's Bearstain or something, which was...
Bearstain?
Check out my bear stains.
I do that, I turn around and show my little tail on this.
The bears were squonks, and by the time we got to learn about the bears, they were just stains.
They're just stains.
Alright, this is called Ickbar Bigglestein, written by Stephen D. Harris. I have not read this, so this is going to be experience for all of us.
Estimated reading time, 6 minutes. Let's see if you can beat it, George.
Published September 19th, 2012.
Damn, this is an oldie.
Because I'm terrible at reading, get ready for this.
Oh boy.
When I was a small child, I was terrified of the dark. I still am. But back when I was around 6 years old, I couldn't go a full night without crying out for one of my parents to search beneath my bed or in the closet for whatever monster I thought was waiting to eat me. Even with a nightlight, I would still see dark shapes moving around the corners of the room, or strange faces looking on me from the bedroom window. My parents would do their best to console me, telling me that it was just a bad dream or a tick of the light. But in my young mind, I was positive that the second I fell asleep, the bad things would get me. Most of the time, I would just hide under the blankets until I became tired enough to stop worrying. But even now and then, I would become so panicked that I would run screaming into my parents' room, waking up my brother and sister in the process. After an ordeal like that, there would be no way anyone would be getting a full night's rest. Eventually, after one particularly traumatizing night, my parents had enough. Unfortunately for them, they understood the futility in arguing with a 6-year-old and knew that they would be unable to convince me to rid myself of the childish fears through reason and logic. They had to be clever. It was my mother's idea to stitch together my little bedtime friend.
Oh boy.
This is
going
It's already downhill.
Here you go! It's your friend Ickbar!
Ickbar!
Botched ritual Ickbar.
God. She's gonna give it like a pumpkin head or something.
Yeah.
Kill me.
Hey, I put it together. I put it together with the dead girl's ashes and hair from up the road.
Jeez.
She collected a large assortment of random pieces of fabric and her sewing machine and created what I would later refer to as Mr. Ickbar Bigglestein.
Oh boy.
Or Ick for short. Ick was a sock monster. And as my mother called him.
That's what I called Steve in middle school.
It's my nickname in high school. He was made to keep me safe while I slept at night by scaring away all the other monsters. He was pretty damn creepy, I had to admit. Honestly, looking back on all of it now, I'm still impressed that my mom could think of something so strange and disturbing looking. Ickbar had the Ickbar had the stitched together look of Frankenstein gremlin.
Of a Frankenstein gremlin.
A Frankenstein gremlin.
So is that like Frankenstein the doctor, or did they meet Frankenstein's monster?
Oh my god. Oh, how pretentious.
Here's your friend Ickbar. I modeled him after Frankenstein, but not the cool one, the scientist.
Good evening, ma'am. Do you have parts?
With big white button eyes and floppy cat ears, his little arms and legs were made from a pair of my sister's black and white striped socks, and the half of his face was green and made from one of my brother's tall football socks. It was all socks. That's my freaking horror.
Hey, she said it was a sock monster.
His head
football socks too. Ickbar stank.
He Ricky.
That's where the ick comes from.
His head could have been described as bulbous, and for his mouth, my mother attached a piece of white fabric and sewed a zigzag pattern to a shape of a wide grin, sharp teeth. I'm messing up now. I loved him at once. From then on, Ick never left my side, so long as it was after dark, of course. Ick didn't like the sun and would get upset if I tried to bring him to school with me. But that's okay. I only needed him at night to keep away the boogeyman, which was what he was good at. So every night at bedtime, Ick would tell me where the monsters were hiding, and I would place him near the section of my room closest to the spookiness. If there was something in my closet, Ick would block the door. If there was a dark creature scratching at my window, Ick would be pressed up against the glass.
Man.
If there was a big hairy beast under my bed, or Steve. Then under the bed he went. Sometimes the monsters weren't even in my room. Sometimes they would hide in my dreams, and Ikbar would have to come with me into my nightmares. It was
actually
fun.
Kind of wholesome.
It really is. It was fun bringing Ick into my dream world, as he and I would spend hours fighting off ghouls and demons. The best part, in my dreams, Ick could talk to me for real. How much do you love me? He would ask. More than anything, I would always tell him. One night in a dream, after I had lost my first tooth, Ick asked me for a favor.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. This is where it goes wrong.
Oh man, I was just starting to like Ick.
Right?
I was rooting for you.
I mean, hit us with it. What does he ask
Alright.
for? I may end up liking him anyways.
Can I have your tooth?
Nope. No.
Never mind. I
An
asked,
ear maybe.
Maybe,
Not,
not
not
a
a tooth.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
Yeah.
I asked him why. To help me kill the bad things, he said.
Jeez.
The next morning at breakfast, my mom asked me where my tooth went. From what she told me, the tooth fairy didn't find it under my pillow. When I told her that I gave it to Ikbar, she just shrugged and went back to feeding my little sister. From then on, every time I lost a tooth, I would give it to Ick.
Oh no, he doesn't start like putting it in his mouth, does he?
He would always thank me, of course, and tell me that he loved me. Eventually, though, I ran out of baby teeth, and I was beginning to get a little too old to
Like
still
if
be
you give
playing
a
with
moose a
dolls.
muffin.
So Ick just sat there on a bookshelf collecting dust, slowly fading away from my attention. This is sad.
It's like if you give a moose a muffin. If you give an Ick a tooth, pretty soon you're gonna run out of teeth, and now he's gonna start asking for like an eye.
Can you imagine if this was in the Toy Story universe and all the
Oh my
other
God.
like I'm Ick and all the other Toy Story all the other
They all
toys
beat
are
him
like yeah. Oh my God.
So
Why do you have all
sorry.
those teeth?
Over time, the nightmares, however, became worse than ever. So bad that they would even begin to follow me to the waking world, terrorizing every dark corner and rustle of the bushes. After one particularly bad night biking home from a friend's house, where I swore a pack of rabid dogs were chasing me, I got home to find something strange waiting for my room. There on my bed, standing fully upright in the soft glow of the moonlight of my window, was Ikbar. At first, I just thought my eyes were playing tricks on me again. They had been all evening, so I tried to flick on the lights. Another flick of the light switched, then another and another, with no change to the darkness. It was then I started to get nervous. I backed away slowly, the door behind me, my eyes never leaving the shape of Ick's silhouette. My hand awkwardly outstretched behind, reaching for the doorknob. I was just about to get my ass out there when I heard the door slam itself shut, locking me into the blackness. In nothing but shadows and silence, I stood frozen in place, not even breathing. For how long, I can't say, but after what felt like a lifetime of cold fear, I heard the shrill, familiar voice. You stopped feeding me, so why should I protect you? Protect me from what? Let me show you. I blinked once and everything changed. I wasn't in my bedroom anymore. I was somewhere else. It wasn't hell, but the comparison wasn't far off.
Well,
So hell.
it's like the Walmart version of hell, the Great Value version of hell.
It was some sort of forest.
Instead of flames, they have those little like fan things where the flames just kind of.
Mom, can we go to hell? Honey, we have hell at home.
It was some sort of forest, a horrible, nightmarish place where partial embryonic abortions hung from the
Oh my
canopy.
God.
Wait, what?
And the ground swarmed with carnivorous insects. A thick fog wafted through the air, and with the stench of rotting meat, while I don't know that word.
While chartreuse
lighting.
Wow, we're getting
Chartreuse.
we're getting fucking highbrow here.
Mr. Ikbar Beinstein with the chartreuse lighting.
yes,
While chartreuse lighting flashed across the night sky.
Probably so completely wrong.
Yeah, it's
like
terrible.
Chatouet.
Chartreuse.
In the distance, I could hear the agonizing screams of something not quite human. My head throbbed like it was about to explode, the pain forcing out a river of tears. In my mind, I heard the voice again. This is what your reality would become without me. I felt earth-shaking footsteps approaching fast. I'm the only one who can stop it. It was behind me now, huge and angry, hot breath across my back.
Hot breath.
Bring me what I need, and I will. I woke up before I could turn around. The following day, I raided my parents' closet for my brother's baby teeth, giving them all to Ikbar.
I need all the teeth, people.
Almost immediately, the night terrors ceased, and I was more or less able to go out about my life as normal. From time to time, I would have to sneak into my little sister's room and snatch what was meant for the tooth fairy, or strangle one from the neighborhood cat and pry it out with sharp little
Oh my god.
scissors.
Dude, you can so like you can take human teeth, but the moment you start messing with cats, I think that's where I draw the line here.
Why don't you just go to like a aquarium and buy just like a poop load of shark teeth?
Yeah, just give him shark teeth. What if he starts using them?
I mean,
though?
if he takes the cats, he
What
has
if
to take the
starts
sharks.
using them?
Anything to ward off the visions. Anything from a shark tooth necklace to a
Heck
cavity-ridden
yeah.
biscuit.
What?
Biscuit?
Biscuit?
Bicuspid.
Bicuspid? I've never heard that word.
It's a tooth.
I also began to notice that Ick would move about my room whenever I left for any length of time, rearranging my stuff and hanging additional curtains.
Yeah, this is where you burn the toy.
He was even beginning to look more lifelike somehow. In the right light, his teeth would glisten, and he was warm to the touch. As much as he creeped me out, I couldn't work up the courage to just destroy him, knowing perfectly well where that would leave me. So I went on collecting teeth for Ick throughout all of high school and college. The older I got, the more things I would learn to fear.
He kept this toy through college.
Yep.
That's basically just like Oogie Boogie, except with teeth instead of insects.
Yeah.
Oh,
What does he do with the teeth? Well, the older I got, the more things I would learn to fear. The more teeth Ick would need to keep me safe. I'm 22 years old now, with a decent job, my own apartment, and a set of dentures.
Oh boy.
It's been almost a month since Ick's last meal, and the horrors are starting to crowd around me once more. I took a detour through a parking garage after work tonight. Found a man fumbling with his keys. His teeth were stained yellow from a lifetime of cigarettes and coffee.
I just had to have them.
Even still, I had to use a hammer to get out the morals.
Oh my gosh.
Or molars. When I got back to my apartment, he was waiting for me, on the ceiling in the corner. 2 white eyes and a mouthful of razors. "How much do you love me?" he asked. "More than anything," I replied, taking off my coat. "More than anything in the world."
Jeez. Ickbar Bigglestein.
Dang, that was dark.
That was really good.
So like,
That was good. I wasn't
that was
expecting
really good. But like, at what point do you say,
Enough's enough.
screw it, I'm dealing with the shadow people and not the toy filled with human teeth over in the corner?
No, he's got razor teeth. He's got razors for a mouthful of razors.
It's just...
That's even worse.
That's what I'm saying. At what point do you just go, screw it, I'm with the shadow people now, Bigglestein. I'm done.
they never told me to collect teeth.
I'm collecting homeless people teeth for you, Bigglestein. This isn't the good future.
Oh my god.
This isn't any part of my life I want to be part of, Bigglestein.
If you
just take me to budget hell.
if you were Ickbar, let's put you in the shoes of Ickbar.
Why are we?
What would I want?
What would be the thing that you would want?
Eyelids.
It's even worse.
I was gonna say after I got enough teeth, I really think I would want like.
Don't you have like 50-some teeth, but only 2 eyelids or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's hell. That's
See,
terrible.
that's the thing though. Like,
I don't know how many teeth we have. That was
so
definitely not
like
the right number.
you start with teeth, and then like you get some fingers going on, then maybe like some toes, some easy stuff, and then that's when you get to the harder stuff. Like, hey, I could use some eyes now.
Well, the dude in my story was that dude, but when he got much older. He was just showing up to people's houses on Halloween and just taking their
Damn,
shit.
so we did some weird like.
Ickbar got greedy. He's like,
And then
he needs to feed the doll.
The schlump, whatever it is. What's it called?
The squonks.
The squonk.
How did you forget that?
How
The
did you forget
squonk. I don't know.
squonks?
Because
The
I'm thinking
swamp?
about a toy that literally just wants teeth.
Yeah, the spunk puddle.
The spunky puddle.
What was your story? The spunk puddle or something like that?
I couldn't think of the name of it. I don't even know how I was going to play into that. Never mind. I forgot where I was going.
Once again, I'm really the odd one out here. Steve's got rib dude. George has teeth dude, and I have.
His name's Marilyn Manson.
I have cry guy. That was actually a lot better than that. Was good.
Dang.
I like that. How was okay? More
So
importantly,
he became the Tooth Fairy.
more importantly than all of that,
All of it. The entirety of it.
the entirety.
Booze.
Is it? I think it's time for a Ghost Collective confession too. That Squonk story was a Ghost Collective OC piece.
Oh.
Yeah, your boy himself wrote about those
Oh,
Squonks.
an autobiography, I see.
I added comedy to the story because the utmost horror of finding that crying thing, hearing that thing crying, it affected me. I was never the same after the Squonk.
When were you in North PA? You were with me in Iceland last week.
That was actually not me.
Oh, it was Igbar.
I use Iceland as a cover to go Squonk hunting.
Yeah, I used my.
How do you think I got these laurels?
Well, what's it called when people they think something into existence? Is that like a tulpa or something like that?
I don't know.
Is that what that's called?
Tulpas are like so people who they think they make this thing into existence.
Yeah, that's you just went to Iceland with Jim's tulpa.
Yeah.
Then it would be my tulpa.
What?
Whose tulpa is this?
Whose tulpa? I need to know whose tulpa.
We're gonna get a bonus feature.
Whose tulpa is this?
According to Wikipedia, tulpa is a concept in mysticism and the paranormal of a being or object which is created through spiritual or mental powers. So yeah, you basically
hit it right on the head.
So
good job.
So I made the tulpa with my mental energy.
And you sent it off to go fuck around in Iceland.
Yeah, yeah. And he took a bunch of good pictures too. Yeah.
I gotta sneeze.
Just do it, dude.
Bless you.
Bless
you.
One more time. Bless.
Thank you. When I did that, I looked up and all my teeth were gone. And Tim was behind me going, "I protected you."
Igbar Bigglestein.
And
is that the joke that you can't say Igbar Bigglestein without teeth in your mouth?
I'm gonna be dreaming about this thing.
Igbar Bigglestein.
I made you do it.
Story. So as advertised earlier, I have my copy of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark here. I got some pretty good ones bookmarked out. It's the Halloween special, man.
All right.
It only cost us 15 cat teeth.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I was not proud of that.
So if you had to collect teeth, how would you go about doing it?
Like you said, I'd probably just go to an aquarium and buy shark teeth.
All right, so that's off the menu.
That's off the menu.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably grave digging, because teeth don't dissolve, do they?
Would he take golden teeth?
No, they don't. What if he
Would he take vampire teeth?
Would vampire teeth be bonus points? Would he defend you better if you had vampire teeth?
Like the fake.
Just go to Dave and Buster's and cash out with 3,000 tokens.
Brought you your teeth. He's like, oh, those look great, thanks. Why are they glowing in the dark?
Because they're cool teeth. He's like, hell yeah.
Got him.
Then you can keep track of where he's at night because you'll just see him smiling in the corner of the ceiling.
Horrifying.
Yeah, but then it's better than just hearing pitter pattering and going, where the fuck is this thing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Were there even spirits? What if Big Ol' Stylish?
What if he was the one conjuring up all this?
Oh my god, what if he cut him in on it? Yo, I'm gonna get 7 teeth from this kid tonight. Ed and Ned, you guys, if you spook them in the corner over there, you can have 2 of them. But anyways, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This is the edition that has the really good pictures, so I'm just gonna scuttle over really quick. And this one's called High Beams. Here's the.
And Jimmy Gorelli is showing you High Beams.
Here's the picture.
The picture from High Beams.
This is High Beams.
Oh god.
Not to be mistaken with
Low Beams.
your brights.
This story is called High Beams. So, the girl driving the old blue sedan was a senior at the high school. She lived on a farm about 8 miles away and used a car to drive back and forth. She had driven into town that night to see a basketball game. Now she was on her way home. As she pulled away from the school, she noticed a red pickup truck follow her out of the parking lot. A few minutes later, the truck was still behind her. I guess we're going the same direction, she thought. She began to watch the truck in her mirror. When she changed her speed, the driver of the truck changed his speed. When she passed a car, so did he. Then he turned on his high beams, flooding her car with light. He left them on for almost a minute. He probably wants to pass me, she thought, but she was becoming uneasy. Usually she drove home over a back road. Not too many people went that way, but when she turned onto the road, so did the truck. I've got to get away from him, she thought, and she began to drive faster. Then he turned his high beams on again. After a minute, he turned them off. Then he turned them on again, and off again. She drove even faster, but the truck driver stayed right behind her. Then he turned his high beams on again. Once more her car was ablaze with light. What is he doing, she wondered. What does he want? Then he turned them off again, but a minute later he had them on again, and he left them on. At last she pulled into her driveway, and the truck pulled in right behind her. She jumped from the car and ran to her house. "Call the police," she screamed at her father. Out in the driveway she could see the driver of the truck. He had a gun in his hand.
Ooh.
When the police arrived, they started to arrest him, but he pointed to the girl's car. "You don't want me," he said. "You want him." Crouched behind the driver's seat, there was a man with a knife. As the driver of the truck explained it, the man slipped into the girl's car just before she left the school. He saw it happen, but there was no way he could stop it. He thought about getting the police, but he was afraid to leave her, so he followed her car. Each time the man in the back seat reached up to overpower her, the driver of the truck turned on his high beams. Then the man dropped down, afraid that someone might see him. Pretty good, huh?
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
What a twist.
Dude, these stories are really good.
What a twist.
I got some more, but it looks like George has something too.
Yeah, what's that you got, George?
I don't know. Hold on. I want to talk about this story.
Yeah,
That was good. All right.
I want to talk about the story. It was good.
That's
all right. It was all right.
So wait.
So
So the driver had a gun. The guy in the truck had a gun.
Yeah, but the cops were coming. I don't know how the cops got there so quick, but...
So, all right. For the last couple minutes, I figured we'd play a quick horror game.
Oh,
Just
a
kidding.
horror game.
Not like a let's play. This is more of a would you rather
Oh, boy.
horror edition.
Oh, boy. This better actually be good, George. This looks awful BuzzFeedy.
Well, the first site I went on was BuzzFeed.
Oh, my God.
So
with
let's
this
start.
podcast?
Hey, Steve,
What are
why don't
you
you
doing
read
with this
question 3?
podcast?
I'll let you do the first one.
Why are we starting on question 3?
Would you rather... That's a V instead of a U, so provoke a zombie or get provoked by a mummy.
I'm
What kind
not
of
answering
question
that. All right, let's go to
I feel like the mummy would just fall apart.
Now, what about Ickbar Bigglestein?
All right?
Would you go ghost hunting, or would you rather be haunted by ghosts?
I'd rather go ghost hunting.
Why would anybody choose
I
to be
have
haunted by ghosts?
gone ghost hunting. George, this sucks.
Yeah, hold on. Let's read 2. Would you? Yeah, this is stupid. Would you rather be eaten alive by a revolting monster or eat the monster's flesh raw? Oh, the one that lets me live.
Yeah, let me see.
Would-
The one with temporary consequences?
Would you rather be the squonk or find the squonk?
Would you rather have to work with Ickbar Bigglestein and collect teeth, or have your teeth collected by Ickbar Bigglestein?
All right. So I went to the BuzzFeed article.
Oh my God.
This one sounds better, at least.
What are you doing?
Oh, okay. So, all right. So you've seen the Saw movies, right?
Sure.
Have you seen
Yeah,
them?
I'm a hip
You got a
man.
general-
I've
yeah.
seen the
You'll get the
Saw
general
movies.
idea. You played Dead by Daylight. Would you rather wake up in the reverse bear trap or the needle pit from the Saw movies?
That's actually hard.
Reverse bear trap.
Probably-
I can't do needles.
Yeah, probably the reverse bear trap, because once those needles get into you... who
Yeah,
knows?
the needles sound agonizing.
Why do these all have to become sexualized? Would you rather make out with Pennywise or Michael Myers?
Meat Man, definitely Meat
Michael
Man.
Myers... Does
Fucking
Michael Myers have his shirt off?
Michael Meatman Myers every time.
Oh, okay, this is a good one. Would you rather spend a week alone in one room with Annabelle or the nun painting from the Conjuring films?
The nun painting. I don't
Was
do
it
dolls.
actually the painting that was haunted?
No, it wasn't the actual painting, but they did use the painting as a conduit.
Oh, it did?
No, Annabelle actually had Satan appear. I mean, actually, I kind of do want to meet Satan.
You guys haven't seen Heredity yet, so we'll skip that one.
I've seen Hereditary.
Steve hasn't. Would you rather try to fight off Freddy Krueger or Leatherface? Leatherface. Freddy Krueger can go in your dreams.
Yeah, at least
I can't even run in my dreams.
I can take a nap in between if I was fighting Leatherface.
Would you rather spend your summer at Camp Crystal Lake from Friday the 13th or the cabin from The Evil Dead?
Dead.
I'd probably go Friday the 13th.
Yeah, The Evil Dead, the house is haunted. Like, literally, you can't get it. Like,
yeah, that would involve me cutting my own tongue off and whatnot.
And
Friday the 13th, I could just...
leave.
You know,
I'm going to get my car.
You have to spend the summer, so technically he's coming for you.
Yeah.
I mean...
But the chances of me cutting my own tongue out at camp whatever.
At Camp Friday, Camp whatever.
Camp Friday cannibal class.
I think we had enough of these Would You Rathers.
Well, a widow lived alone on the top floor of an apartment house. One morning her telephone rang. "Hello," she said. "This is the Viper," a man said. "I'm coming up." This sounds like the beginning of a very bad porn. The Viper's here.
The Viper's delivering a pizza.
And you better bet there's a hole in this box.
Put my dick in it.
With the other Viper in it. Somebody is fooling around, she thought, and hung up. A half hour later, the telephone rang again. It was the same man. "It's the Viper," he said. "I'll be up soon."
What a horrible way to introduce yourself.
I feel like every time he says, "It's the Viper," he has like a guitar twang go.
Slash follows him around.
Yeah! The widow didn't know what to think, but she was getting frightened. Once more the telephone rang. Again. Can you guess who it was? It wasn't Stanley Steamer.
Was it the boa constrictor?
It was the Viper.
Oh, God damn it.
I got fucking fooled again.
"I'm coming up now," he said. She quickly called the police. They said they would be right over. When the doorbell rang, she sighed with relief. They are here, she thought. But when she opened the door, there stood a little man with an old there stood a little old man with a bucket and a cloth. "I am the Viper," he said. "I wish to wash and vanish the windows, or wipe the windows." I'm the Viper. He's the wiper.
Oh, the Viper.
Peace.
That's so dumb.
Keep going. Is that it? Is that the end of it? That's the scary story? Is it he was just a window washer?
Alright, let me read that.
How about Slithery D? The Slithery D, he came out of the sea.
No.
He ate all the others, but he didn't eat me. The Slithery D, he came out of the sea. He ate all the others, but he didn't slurp.
The Slithery D.
Alright, I want to read one of these. Go on. It's me, Ty Doughty Walker.
Oh, boy.
I'm gonna read. That is 30.
That's 13. No, I'm just kidding.
We're not gonna do the ones from the movie. I'm just gonna.
I actually didn't see the movie, so,
No, you're lost.
These ones look long.
Oh, read
Damn,
that.
Steve.
Really, way to keep this
Pick
podcast.
a short one, dude.
Hello, Kate. You can cut that out.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello, Kate. Tom Connors was on his way to a dance in the next village. It was a long walk through the fields and woods, but it was a soft, sweet evening, and he loved dancing. He had gone only a short distance when he noticed a young woman following him. Maybe she is going to the dance, he thought, and he stopped and he waited for her. As the woman got closer, he saw that it was Kate Faraday? Faraday.
Okay, Steve, we need to expedite this. The camera's dying.
They had danced together many times.
Oh, they danced all right.
He was about to call, "Hello, Kate," when suddenly he remembered that Kate was dead. She had died last year. Yet they were all dressed up for the dance. Tom wanted to run, but somehow it didn't seem right to run from Kate. He turned and started to walk away as fast as he could, but Kate followed him. He took a shortcut across the field, but still, she followed. When he got to the dance hall, she was right behind him. There were a lot of people standing outside, and Tom tried to lose Kate in the crowd. He worked his way to the side of the building, then squeezed up against the wall behind some people, but Kate followed. She came so close, she brushed up against him. Then she stopped and waited. He wanted to say, "Hello, Kate," just the way he did when she was alive. But he was so frightened he couldn't speak. Her eyes looked into his eyes, and she vanished.
Wow. That wasn't no viper.
Yeah. That's alright.
Anyways, people, we here at the Ghost Collective have a dying camera.
And
we want to wish you
a
happy Halloween.
Hanukkah.
Have a spooky time, people.
Because I know him. I'm his doctor. You must be ready for him. If you don't, it's your funeral.